everybody, glad you're here. We're going to be talking about the Walmart bestsellers, best-selling makeup at Walmart. I've gone through the website, I've sorted the products by bestsellers according to their different product type, and I've grouped together a full face here. And I know I've done some videos like this in the past, but I thought it was time to do it again, and it's just very fascinating to me. I always say, like, I'd love to just be able to dig through someone else's makeup bag and see what they're using. And when you look at the best-selling products, I kind of think of that as a glimpse into maybe a lot of makeup bags out there with the popular products. Now, sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes you think, well, oh, these are some hot new items. They're just selling a lot. But then there are some things on the list where you're like, wow, this is an iconic product. And maybe people are just really committed to this thing because it's legitimately good and they're stuck on it for years. We're going to start things out for this full face, and I'm going to use my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Very popular product. I was browsing through just out of curiosity. I was looking at Target's bestsellers too, and this was definitely the tip-top product. Like, people love the Power Grip Primer, and I would have to say it's really not my favorite. Like, I think it's extremely sticky. I think it can help the wear of makeup, but there are several others that just don't have that extreme tackiness going across the skin. And I guess there may be lesser known gripping primers, but there's the Hard Candy 12-hour makeup grip, and there's also a good one from Catrice as well. The e.l.f. Power Grip has really just gone out there, made a name for itself, put itself out in that pinky tone niacinamide version. I noticed on e.l.f.'s website they're even selling a jumbo version of this if you felt the need for that. But yeah, I've got it on all over. My skin feels extra dewy, tacky, and that's kind of the point, I guess. But it just doesn't spread that well. It's never been a huge favorite of mine. Now look at this bestseller. I'm thrilled about this. This is not a brand new product, but it's something I just totally stand behind. The Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. Now, really good price on this. It sells for $5.47. I think this is a situation where maybe people have seen, like, wow, that's an amazing price for a coverage product in a landscape where the price is going up on a lot of different things. But this has been around for some time, and it's very, very good. If you want lightweight feel, they call it sheer to medium coverage, and I could totally get behind that. I really enjoy the way this looks on my skin. It is the thing that I come back and compare all tinted moisturizer type products to. It has hyaluronic acid, squalane, it is oil free. The shade I have is light, so let's just put this on, okay? The vibe with this is lightweight foundation. The skin always looks radiant once it's on. You're gonna squeeze out what feels like a pump and just dab it on. And I'm going to take my little e.l.f. Duo brush here and blend this in. And the coverage is just so nice. Like, they say sheer to medium, and depending on your blending method, maybe it could look sheer, but I do really feel that medium, light to medium coverage. Like, look how pretty it is. It's adding moisture. It's not adding like tons of moisture. It's not as juicy as some products like this. What was I just trying? Oh, e.l.f.'s. e.l.f.'s new product that has the SPF 50 in it. That's really got a lot of moisture. But the way I see it, if you can take care of your moisture, mainly with your skincare and your SPF in your skincare, you could get this product, and this is like your lightweight summertime foundation, you know? It's a great thing. And it's always something I go to if I'm thinking of doing a quick makeup routine. I think, what blends easily? What blends without thinking? This is so easy to work with across the skin, and look how my skin just looks radiant, not with shimmer. I've got hydration, but I've got a really perfect coverage level across my skin. I 100% support the best-selling status of this product. Here's another great one to see on the list, the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I wear it in light peach. This is a really special product. I've said this a lot, but I mean, for it to cover as well as it does, to be kind of a benchmark in terms of drugstore coverage, but then to also offer that little extra hydration. You'll notice I'm not taking big swipes on my skin. I'm putting small dots where I want this, because it can give your skin some juice, you know? It really works. It really covers well. I like e.l.f.'s regular version, but this one certainly is adding some moisture in a landscape of concealers where a lot of them are just, you know, coverage beasts. And that's great, but the Hydrating Camo Concealer will give you a little something extra. And at this point, you know, it's also not a brand new product on the market. Another foundation-y thing that I always do see on bestsellers lists. And I noticed it again just a little ways down from the tinted hydrator. It was the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. There are people out there that must be just super loyal to that stuff because it always shows up as a bestseller. Did you see what I did there? I took the smaller side of the e.l.f. Duo brush and I spread that concealer around, and now I'm tapping it in. We have two really nicely hydrating products on the skin right now, and they're meshing together just beautifully. It took me a long time to wind down last night. Belle had, what would you call it, like callbacks for cheer tryouts. She did a tryout where it was just her, and you know, you show up and you do your individual skills that you have, your jumps, your tumbling, if you're flying, your different like body positions and whatever. And they called kids back to do like group synchronized tumbling and stunts. And she came back and worked with kind of like one chunk of kids midday and then another level of kids at night. And she got the chance to fly in some pretty hard stuff and she did great. And I'm so excited. I didn't get to sit in there and watch it, but I was told it was pretty awesome. I think she may find out next week what team she gets on. But look at this skin. Look at this hydrated skin. I mean, if you feel like overall your skin doesn't need a ton of full coverage help, but you just want something light, you get this, and then you cater to those problem areas with something like this. This is a great normal to dry skin combo. One thing I noticed as I'm looking at my bestsellers list, something I have to look past is that Walmart will immediately put at the top, like when you're specifically focusing on beauty, they will put at the top like recent things you've bought. And even if you've filtered it to be bestsellers, you have to look past those because they're just automatically thinking, you know, maybe you want to buy this again. Just the same way that if you like search grapes, it's going to pop up toward the top like the last type of grapes you bought. But I'm looking beyond all those labels that say bought one time, bought two times. I'm looking to where the actual bestsellers list starts. And I was very pleased but not surprised to see Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder on there. You guys know I love this stuff. I completely am in agreement. This is great here. I have it in fair. It comes in a number of skin tones. The fair, I feel like, if you're anywhere near my skin tone, it's like kind of the ultimate brightening under eye powder. Now, some of these new pinky tone powders are also really brightening, but fair is always doing something special. It's a very good texture. I'm taking some in here on my under eye with the triangle puff. But anytime I hear people swear by a certain high-end loose powder, I always think like, have you really tried Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder? Because it's just so brightening. I think it still might be more brightening than some of the pink ones. Pink ones are brightening in their own way. This is Old Reliable right here. And this may end up being one of the first loose powders that I end up using up. I actually don't have that much in there. But I love applying it with the little puff and then I take another brush and there was a little more than I needed put on, but I can blend it around. Really makes your under eyes look perfected and helps that last well all day. And what I'm doing now, like I know there's a little powder on my brush and I'm just seeing if I can stamp it over the rest of my skin because I didn't grab for another powder. I'm still a little tacky, but not quite as much as when I started. The best-selling bronzer and blush kind of surprised me. I think these are good products, but I was just surprised that a $10 each bronzer and blush, I was surprised that that ended up being the best sellers. Newer product and I guess very popular, the NYX Buttermelt line. Buttermelt bronzer, I have the shade Deserve Butta. It's very pigmented, but I feel like, come on Walmart, I feel like L'Oreal has had a real resurgence in popularity recently, so I was kind of surprised it wasn't the infallible bronzer. And me personally, I'm over here thinking like you could get the Rimmel Natural bronzer and spend a lot less than this stuff. But this is highly pigmented, comes in a variety of shades. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to start getting my contour on. I was also kind of surprised that a cream contour didn't come up first. This is a pretty soft formula and I feel like it's just the slightest bit satiny. Get a little and do some contouring with it. See, it's doing good. I'm just a little surprised. You can really develop a tan with this stuff though. Like I really like this tone that I have. Now the blush that I have in this range, it's the shade Butta with Thyme and it's really, really bold. Like I wouldn't mind trying maybe a lighter shade of this. But I've got so many blushes. I remember thinking like I just want to try one and I just ended up with a very intense one on the brush. It's very berry, You're gonna put it on and feel like you've completely overloaded and possibly ruined the look. I got so much on. I don't know how I got that much on. Maybe I should have tapped on my hand first. Well, we're gonna work with that. You just have to be so careful with this. This is so soft and so pigmented, and I've used it many times before, but apparently I just dug in harder than I thought I was because I need to do a little correcting on this cheek. And I've done this before, and it's maybe helpful to show this. I'm gonna take a small dot of concealer, and we're gonna dab over this just to tone it down a little, okay? It helps. You can also kind of take your powder puff if there's anything left on it and make sure that your bold blush isn't sinking too far south on your cheek. I think the skin looks beautiful right now on the coverage. Tell me your favorite shade of the Buttermilk blush, one that's maybe less likely to do that to you. Best-selling setting spray is the Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray from e.l.f. So this is the one that you shake and it combines sort of the formulas that are in there. Really fine mist. I love the way this mists out. I've used mine quite a bit. I feel like it can knock down the powdery look just a little bit, but it doesn't do as much for staying power as the L'Oreal Infallible 3 Second. Now that was Target's best-selling setting mist, I noticed, and I was kind of surprised that it wasn't Walmart's as well, but this is the top dog at Walmart. Then we're gonna move to brows, and e.l.f. also owns this category at Walmart too. The top-selling brow product, and this doesn't really surprise me, and I think it's been a bestseller before in past times that I've done videos like this, but the e.l.f. Instant Lift Pencil. This was originally $2. Now it's up to $3 and the waterproof version is $4. But still, that price is really low. People seeking this product out are maybe doing some comparing and thinking, yeah, maybe I don't need to spend 10 bucks for a new brow product. As I was looking through just the whole category of makeup on Target and looking at the best sellers, I noticed like lots of different brow products were coming up early on in the search, you know, just looking at all makeup as a whole. And it just might be that this is the type of thing that has to get repurchased a little more. I know I go through brow pencils faster than a lot of products in my routine. This is neutral brown, and the difference you'll notice if you get the waterproof one, it definitely has a different feeling texture. It feels like kind of thickening in your brows. It feels almost like a pomade in a stick. It actually has hold in your brows. You might even feel like you don't need a separate brow gel after you use that. Can we talk about how brightened and nice the under eyes look right now? That Maybelline Fit Me in Fair is the cherry on top. The thing about Instant Lift is it's a thicker pencil than Brow Wiz and certainly thicker than like the CoverGirl Clean Fresh that I've used more. I like it, it's good. It's just like, it feels really thick compared to skinnier ones if you've been using the skinny ones a lot. I have such a full day today. I have to have Nana and Papa help me out in a couple ways because I got 2 kids tumbling at different times because Biddy wanted to start doing that again, just like a regular tumbling class, so she's got that in the afternoon. Belle's got a lesson in the morning. Brett's got to follow up on some dental work he had done a couple months ago, and then Belle has a dentist appointment this afternoon. Another best-selling brow product listed after this was this, the e.l.f. Brow Lift. Is this surprising to me? Yes, it kind of is. To me, this feels like a bit more tedious product than just using a brow gel. I know there are a lot of popular brow gels out there. You think about NYX Control Freak, also the different tinted brow gel options. L'Oreal has a brow lamination gel in a tube that I just would have thought maybe might have come up. Basically, I lay my little brush down. I do have the specific one for this product from e.l.f. and it has that little flat side where you can really like flatten your brows to your face. I don't tap over them too hard because my brows do have a little fluff to them and it's okay if they look, you know, 3D from my face. But yeah, interesting product to find as a bestseller. Not one of maybe the old icons that you sometimes see among bestsellers. But this isn't brand new either, to be fair. It's been around for a little while now. But there's been a lot of e.l.f., you know. e.l.f. had the primer, e.l.f. had the setting spray, the concealer, brow stuff. And guess what? They've got the top-selling eye primer too, the Lock It Down eyeshadow primer. Now, I almost forgot I had this. I'm surprised it's not Milani, really. I know I personally love that stuff, but I just thought other people did too. But e.l.f. has this, and e.l.f. is hot. So I'm gonna put some of this on. It's really thin feeling, thinner than I remembered. I mean, I just haven't used this much. Tap it all in. But as you guys have maybe noticed if you've watched a lot of my videos recently, I've gotten into the Wet n Wild Mega Last Eye Primer. It's cheaper than Milani and it really performs just as well for me. It neutralizes the lids a little more, has a bit more feeling of thickness. This one feels pretty thin, but I've got that lightly across my lids. And then speaking of Milani, top selling eyeshadow is the Gilded Mini, and this was the one that was pictured. So sometimes I wonder if like the specific thing in the picture is the best selling actual one. This is Whiskey Business. It's the all matte palette. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that was the best selling one that they have. It's very basic, very everyday. I could see loads of people using this and liking this. This was the palette I used in my video that was like a grown-up eyeshadow tutorial that everybody could follow. It was the video that the amazing Mrs. Webb, a teacher at our school, recommended, and I love that video. But yeah, this one was the one that I saw pictured under the best sellers. So we're gonna do an easy matte look today. I'm taking a break from all of the Morphe palette testing. I just have a couple of those left to test. I'm going into this warm shade right here. So this palette offers a really nice blendable gradient. You see how it's not just like they threw in one dark shade, you've got several dark shades leading up to it, and that's helpful with blending. Milani does a really good matte formula, and the eyeshadow trends have been so like nude or non-existent, so this pick does not surprise me. However, can you get some good shadow for even less than this at the drugstore? For sure. Rimmel's got some great little 10-pan palettes, certain ones. Hard Candy's got some nice quads. You've of course got e.l.f. Bite Size, which that surprised me a little bit that the Bite Size ones weren't in this conversation, but those really aren't my personal favorite. I'm going to go to this shade right here and kind of blend that on the edge of the warmth just to soften it. And we do have a matte cream too that'll be perfect up under the brow. But this palette is like everything you need to make that shadow look so buffed out, really blended without doing a lot of work. And I'm just using my same brush this whole time, my Profusion crease brush. Did I miss a spot in that brow though? Hard to tell. Now maybe we slowly start to deepen up the crease. Maybe we go to this shade right here. Soft brown, less warm. And we say, okay, you can go into that outer part of the crease. Nice. I am tapping off a little excess. These shadows aren't over the top powdery, but they're fairly soft. Blend, blend. And then I'm going to go straight down into this darkest shade. There's a really nice, super dark brown, and I'm taking my Morphe M303. So this is their newer flat brush, and I'm patting this on the outer part of my eyelid. And the fluff of this brush is really assisting in that shade hitting my crease as well. See how it's not only lid, it's also hitting that crease area. And then we can blend in a minute. We like ease, we like lift. This palette can totally take you there. I did notice e.l.f. is putting out several new shades of the Bite Size quads, and I do want to try those. Okay, I'm gonna take a bare little brush here. This is my Profusion Small Pointed, and when I know I've put down a shade that really does have a lot of intensity, I feel like I can take this brush and kind of use it bare and just sweep it to and fro and let it blend out. This has been done so easily. That's what I love. The process is enjoyable when it's feeling easy. You're gonna like doing makeup when the makeup feels fun. I'm just taking this brush, again with nothing on it, and just blending edges. Effortless, easy. I mean, this palette is kind of for the person who wants the effects of eyeshadow without really looking like you've got like sparkly or shimmery textures going on. Especially once the mascara's on, the eyeshadow is just going to kind of melt into the background, but it's going to be doing things for us in terms of giving the lift and the definition, but it's not going to be the star of the face, you know? I'm going to just go into this shade right here, so a little lighter, obviously, than the other shade on the lid, but it looks kind of nude, practically just like my skin tone. I'm just patting that over inner lid. And this is a little bit smaller brush. This is the Morphe M302. So I really like having a couple sizes of flat brushes to go between. After I just use something really dark, I don't have to reuse that same brush again. Looking so good. Really nice, simple look. I'm very pleased. Now, another thing that came up really high under eye makeup, bestsellers, and this surprised me because I feel like this is kind of a diamond in the rough. It's a thing that I know I always talk about a lot, but I don't know if the world is really catching on to it, but apparently they are. The shadow sticks from Hard Candy. They're called Eye Def eyeshadow markers, and this was the one pictured, the one called Bubbly. So on the off chance that that means something, the one that they chose to show, I thought maybe I'd show some of this. This is actually really pretty if you want to use it for a bit of a brightening look right around your inner corner. Like, look how that brightens up. And it's going to lay down in a way that powders just don't. And my personal favorite from this line, as many of you know, is the shade called Cold Brew, because it's just such a great little effortless lower liner smudginess that won't fade throughout the day. That's the beautiful thing about these. They do not budge. They make a great all black one too, if you're looking for some drama or you want something that can last in your waterline. I mean, consider the fact that these shadow sticks wear so well. Now, another great one from the drugstore, the L'Oreal Lace Shadow Sticks. These are gliding on easy for me, but those are kind of on another level in terms of glide. They're a little bit newer, but that's something to look out for. I love Cold Brew, and Cold Brew is actually really nice on your upper lash line too if you want it there. Just a little smudgy softness. That's why I call it lazy liner. It's like no work. Get it in the vicinity of the eye, you just put it on, it looks pre-smudged. Like what I put down here, I didn't have to then go in with a separate brush and go wiggling on top of it to make it look more smoky. It just immediately looks smoky. Oh my gosh, I forgot there was a highlighter under the bestsellers. I had it and I put it in my bag and I forgot it was part of things. It's the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glow highlighter stick. The one that was specifically pictured was this one called Glowy Creme Chic. I guess I can just pop this on, you know, doesn't matter. So a little highlighter stick. This surprised me a bit because this is a fairly new product out, but like I said, L'Oreal's really having a moment, so I'm just dabbing it in with my finger and seeing how that goes. Pressing it in. I've got these sticks and I just haven't used them a whole lot, but it's blending in pretty easily there. Gives my skin a little extra glow. This is what it is capable of doing in a very full-on sense. But they've got some that are just like really dewy, you know, so you put those on and your skin just has more of a wet look. This definitely has the shimmer in it, so it's more like a traditional highlighter vibe. That's something that's good, but it kind of surprised me a bit because people are taking to a cream highlighter stick, but a cream bronzer or contour didn't come up in that list. At least nothing that came up above this. That kind of surprised me. For mascara, the best-selling mascara, the first one that came up under mascara is this Maybelline Sky High, Lash Sensational Sky High. I will say, this hasn't been a mascara that has really majorly agreed with me. Like, it's okay, but it's not something that's reached favorite status. This is a mascara where I feel like if I layer it in with maybe another mascara that I'm using, it can do a little better. This one I haven't had for a long time. Like, it's not dangerous to use, but it's got a little age on it and maybe it'll do a little better for me today. We'll see. But definitely a very popular mascara, very flexible little brush there, rubber bristles, tapering down. There we go. Coating up pretty well today, actually. I had gotten a burgundy shade also, and I remembered that layered on pretty well. Am I starting to see what the hype's all about here? That's pretty good for one coat. I wasn't shocked that this was a bestseller because it's gotten a lot of love, but also L'Oreal Lash Paradise might have been one that I agreed with even more. And if e.l.f. Lash Extender was on that list, I'd be putting that on my lower lashes. I'm just gonna go lower lash free today. That's a tubing mascara and I know that it's not gonna smudge. This one, I just can't be so sure. We haven't built that deep level of trust yet. Okay. So a coat on each eye, it's actually going on pretty well. When this was newer to me, I felt like it was one of those mascaras that was a bit more prone to just slipping through my lashes. But now maybe it's gotten a little thickness on it, slightly more dry than it once was, and it's building better. But this is a mascara that I think is primarily about length. Okay, good experience. All right, I get it, guys. For lips, I'm gonna tell you the lip liner, lipstick, and lip gloss that came up first, highest on the list for bestsellers. The e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liners. I know they're affordable. They're a $2 lip liner. People are drawn in by that price. I need to sharpen this one. This is the mauve one. I think it's called Mauve Aside. Now, you notice mine's getting short. Oh no, it broke off. Mine's getting really short because this is a very creamy lip liner and it does wear down really fast. And I talked about in a recent video how, like, you don't want world's creamiest lip liner on if staying power is your main priority. A really creamy lip liner is basically a lipstick in a lip liner shape. That's really what you're getting with some of these. This is so creamy and it goes on really smooth and I like the color. You know, I enjoy this tone, but the staying power is really not that great at all. How is Revlon Color Stay not ruling this category by now? Also, I recently tried Catrice lip liners. Wow, that stuff is in it for the long haul. These ones called Plumping Lip Liner, those are in it to win it. But these also, like, you gotta sharpen them a lot and then they're so soft, it's kind of hard to get a good sharpen. Great color, great price, but we need more staying power out of that. Top selling lipstick, good old L'Oreal Color Riche. But one that I have is kind of what they're trying to make their signature color called Worth It. Remember they put out the Worth It and the Worth It Medium, and I kind of saw that as L'Oreal trying to create their own pillow talk of their line like Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna put this on over top. It's very creamy. These lipsticks have such a scent that they have had forever. It's strong. It's like, if you've ever smelled it, it's one of those scents that takes you back like a long time. This is a little bit lighter than my lipstick, but I think they're gonna make a pretty combo. I'll swatch the lipstick as is. See that? Pillow talk type of shade. Dusty Rose. Very wearable, very good. I mean, it feels good. It feels moisturizing, but why did Revlon Super Lustrous not have that category? Just for the amount of shades and a really similar texture to this. Some really iconic shades, I think, in Revlon's line. And less of that scent that I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be nuts about. Maybe some people love it. And then the top gloss is from e.l.f. It's their Glow Reviver Lip Oil. This is the shade called Honey Talks. So these are a really nice, pleasant texture. They have that big, turned back, buckfoot style applicator. I'm gonna put it on, get a little tint of color with these, not a lot. But from what I see, they play into a lot of people's lip combos. These are good. I like the texture, but you know what I like even more are the lip oils from Wet n Wild. And lip oil, that term is being used very loosely. These feel like a glossy texture, only maybe a little more moisturizing. They do feel extremely pleasant, but Wet n Wild has that Cocoa Rose shade and so pretty. But I was not at all surprised to see this as a bestseller because a lot of people talk about that stuff. But yeah, this is my finished look for the day, friends. What do you think? I think the coverage looks dynamite. The skin looks so, so good. That little highlighter stick definitely added some more radiance on top, but see how we were able to recover from that blush situation? The MVPs to me are these two plus this. That really just made the skin look so even and fresh, yet really brightened up and covered on the under eye. Like, what a great combo there. Remember what I said about the eyes and how the all matte neutral eye kind of takes a back seat in the look? Like, you don't see my face and think eyeshadow, but it's doing important things in terms of giving the eye lift and just making everything look really finished there. So I'm pleased with that being a part of this look. And on the lips, you know, it's a pretty looking lip. This is not going to be a very long wearing combo, so that would be my caution there. If you're expecting long wear, I don't think this is the way to go. But all you got to do is swap out for a more long wear lip liner. Wear your Color Riche lipstick if you want to. But yeah, all in all, I would have to say the stuff that's selling big at Walmart in the makeup section right now is definitely delivering a good look. So thank you guys for watching. I would love to hear what you agreed with or disagreed with in the comments section, and I'll see you again soon. I love you. Bye.